Hello everybody, welcome back to another MSP airport update here. This will be the final MSP update on this mat here. This one will be replaced before the next MSP update. This will be the last update with this one. It will be a lot better. It'll be more up to date as there's been some recent renovations at MSP, so we'll get the new one up to date. It should look a whole lot better in terms of all the markings and everything. We'll probably add hopefully around 10 more gates to the airport, yeah, it should just be a great opportunity to redo this airport and make it a lot better, make it up to the standard of my other airports. So that I'll be making that over the course of the next month here in June, and we'll see how that turns out. I made this airport in like 2 or 3 days, so hopefully making an airport in like a month will be a little bit better quality than this one. But we'll get started here with the airport update. All these flights are from June 5th. We have a new airline here at MSP, which we'll get into later on in the update, so stick around for that. But we'll begin right here in Terminal 2, where we see the Sun Country Airlines 737-800. This is in the Transavia hybrid livery. This one came in from Boston, Massachusetts, and it'll be heading out to San Francisco. Next aircraft here, we have the Gemini Jets Sun Country 737-800 Tide Pod with the 40 years of flight sticker. This one came in from New York JFK. This will be heading out on the new EAS service that Sun Country has began a few months ago to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And moving along here, we have the rest of our Sun Country lineup, beginning with the 737-700 there. The extra aircraft is the 737-800, but in the same livery, the Arial text font livery. This one came in from Baltimore, and it'll be heading out to Myrtle Beach. Next up here, we have the Panda models version of the Tide Pod 737-800. This one with scimitars. This one came in from Charlotte Douglas, and it'll be heading out to Raleigh-Durham. And here we have the no winglet 737-800 in the old livery, which came in from Newark, and it'll be heading out to Orlando. And right here we have our Delta 737-900 here. This one came in from San Francisco, and it'll be heading out to Tampa, Florida. Moving into the summer season, Delta has started operating 737-800s to MSP, which is something that they have not been doing for like a year at least. So I don't even have any Delta 737-800 models because we haven't seen them at all at MSP. But now that there's been a big resurgence of them, so I'll probably be getting the new Gemini Jets one. So that will be coming here eventually. Maybe purchase it at airliners, but yeah, we're seeing a lot of 737-800s at MSP right now. So I'll probably invest in that instead of the 737-900, the new Gemini 737-900 that I was planning on buying. I think I'll get the 737-800 instead and wait for later on the 739. But this 739 here, they're still flying plenty of them here. Yeah, definitely a lot of 737-800s and still plenty of A321s. And speaking of which, here is the Delta A321. This one came in from Salt Lake City, and this one is on a turn. We'll be heading back out there. So a gorgeous looking model right here. This is the Gemini Jets version of this aircraft. No SATCOM dome on this one. This model came out before that was added to the A321s, or at least before that came in the newer ones. So that's a bit inaccurate of this model, but it still looks great. A great one here by Gemini Jets. And up next here we have the Delta Team USA A330-900 Neo. This is the actual aircraft that flew in, which is really cool to see here. I have seen it in person, I believe, twice, and it is a stunning livery here. So this one came in from Paris Charles de Gaulle, and it will be staying here until the 6th. It'll be just staying at MSP for a day, and then he'll be heading out to Tokyo Haneda on their not really newly resumed service, but it has been resumed for a while here, but it is new as of the spring. So good to see, or I guess not new, but resumed as of the spring. So good to see that one back here and on the beautiful Team USA livery. And here we have the Delta A330-300 here. This one came in from Amsterdam Schiphol, and it will be heading out to Detroit Metro, which is interesting that that's on the A330. I'm assuming just a repo flight for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they did that, but that is what is going to be happening on this 330-300 here for Delta. So an interesting circumstance there, but that is what this aircraft is doing, and this one arrived in about an hour ago from Amsterdam. And here is the stunning KLM 7879. The actual was actually a 787-10, but it is normally a 7879, but the model is still applicable enough for this flight. This one also came in from Amsterdam Schiphol, predictably, and it'll be heading back out there. So good to see KLM continuing their service here, and it looks like it's going to continue on the 787. Last year it switched over to the 330 into the summer season, but looks like it is staying with the 787. So that means that this model will be seen here more often, but less so the 330, which I bought last year. But don't worry, that model will still be used plenty in St. Martin updates. And then this one, Phoenix did a great job with this one and the other one, but yeah, great job on this model right here by Phoenix. And it looks absolutely stunning here at MSP. Super glad that I could utilize this aircraft in here once again. And here we have the Delta A350-900, and this is in the Delta Spirit livery. This one just landed here, and as accurate as we have, this is the flaps down version, so the flaps down is actually realistic in this situation, as we see right here for this Delta A350 here. This one just landed in from Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson, and so yeah, this is flying to Atlanta, and it's actually in the turn. It's not like going to be heading out to Seoul or anything. It's doing a turn from Atlanta, so I don't really get what's going on with this aircraft, but that is what this one is doing. And fun to incorporate yet another wide body here for Delta. I have incorporated all of my Delta wide bodies here. There's still one missing, but we're about to hit on it here in 1 second. And here it is. We have the Delta 767-300 operating our one and only route on this aircraft here. That's also the reason why I don't intend on getting the new Gemini Jets 767-400, as I wouldn't be able to use it at this airport. It looks like a cool model, but not one that I will be utilizing here, so I'm probably not going to get it. But we have the 767-300 here doing our one and only route from Honolulu, Hawaii. And this one will be heading back out there on the turn, of course. Next up here we have the A220-300, which came in from Santa Ana, John Wayne, Orange County, and it will be heading out to Raleigh-Durham. And then here we have the A220-100. This one came in from Nashville, and it will be heading out to Chicago O'Hare. So back-to-back A220s right there, looking very nice. Here we have the American A219 with the CFM engines and sharklets. This one is currently taxiing out for the service out to Philadelphia, and it previously arrived in from there as well. And now next up here we have the Alaska 737-900 in the UNCF livery. The actual aircraft was a 737-800 in the Disneyland Pixar livery, but it is a 737 in a special livery, so it still fits here. This one came in from Seattle Tacoma, heading out to Portland. And the American Eagle CRJ 200s are here. So if you remember last year, we got a few E145s in from Chicago, operated by Envoy, but we have seen a surge of these American Eagle CRJ 200s from Air Wisconsin, which is kind of peculiar to see, because you'd think that Chicago would have more demand than just a bunch of CRJ 200s, but that is what American is operating, mainly to Chicago right now, which is a bit interesting. A bit disappointing, actually, but that does mean I get to use this model here, getting more use out of it than just Kalamazoo and Madison. So this one came in from Chicago O'Hare and heading back out there, as I said, operated by Air Wisconsin, of course. Then here we have the American 737-800. This one is in from Charlotte Douglas, and it will be heading back out there once again on the turn. And here is Astrojet once again. I feel like I'm really going to need to get an another American 737-800 here, as I seem to be using this Astrojet one a lot. This one came in from Phoenix and is on the turn. Here we have the United A320 in the Continental World livery. This one came in from Denver and is currently pushing back, so we'll be making the flight out to New York, Newark. And then moving along here into the D concourse, we'll begin with the Delta Thank You A321, which came in from Boston Logan, heading out to New York LaGuardia. That is his. Once again, I feel like I've been using this one on Boston forever, but that is because I did fly on this aircraft from Boston to MSP in this livery, so it does hold some sentimentality on the Boston route in that sense. But then next to this one, we have a new aircraft here. It is the Delta 717 here. This one came in from Kansas City, Missouri, and it will be heading out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Very nice. Then here we have the Delta A319. This one came in from Philadelphia, and we'll be heading out to Washington, DCA, Reagan National. Now here we see the rest of the C concourse, but we'll focus it in on our new airline here. That is WestJet. Yes, WestJet has started service here. This is not their inaugural, but this is their second flight. But for all intents and purposes here for this airport update, we'll just say this is the inaugural service in from Edmonton, and you'll be heading back out there. Edmonton, of course, the capital of Alberta, and is one of the only Canadian routes that has not been served yet here at MSP. But WestJet will be starting service from Edmonton, and then later on in June, I think like June 22nd, they're going to be starting service from Saskatoon, which is in Saskatchewan, which will be very cool. So that will, I mean, this is like the airport for Canadian connections, if you think about it, because we have service on Air Canada to Montreal and Toronto. Delta flies to Toronto, Winnipeg, Vancouver, and Calgary, and now WestJet to Edmonton and Saskatchewan. Also, Delta flies to Vancouver. I think I said that, but yeah. So you can fly anywhere in Canada from MSP now, so that's great. So we have, of course, WestJet. They are a code share with Delta, so that is why they're parking here in Terminal 1. And interestingly, in the C concourse, which is a bit surprising, I did not know that they had customs facilities in here, because it looks like they're parking at Charlie 9, which I believe is a gate that I have flown out of numerous times, so that's a bit funny. But it is Charlie 9 out of all gates, but that looks like it is going to be WestJet's designated gate. But I'm kind of surprised that they're parking here and not in the G concourse, because I would expect them to park in the G concourse, because that is where all the other international Delta allied flights come in, I guess. That makes sense, like the codeshare flights or the alliance partners with KLM and Air France used to fly in over there back when they were servicing MSP. So you'd expect WestJet to park over there, but they are not. So that's pretty interesting, though, but that adds in a nice little mixture here in the C concourse to see WestJet among all these Delta aircraft. So very nice to see them in here. And of course, lovely model. They are flying the 737-700, which is perfect because I have this one. This is my only WestJet model for the time being, and this looks like it's going to be what they're flying here most of the time. They will fly the 737-800 in a few times, and that looks like they'll be beginning soon. They'll be operating some flights on the 737-800, but mostly it's going to be the 737-700 for both. So that will be perfectly represented with this one right here. So glad to see that WestJet has commenced service to MSP, and hopefully they will continue well here. Two very interesting destinations, as I do say so myself. Not what I would really expect for WestJet, especially Saskatoon. That seems like a very oddball one and a pretty tiny airport as well. But I will welcome them with open arms, and maybe someday I'll have to try out WestJet flying up to Edmonton or Saskatoon. That will be very fun. And here we have our two Delta E175s. Technically the one on the right is an E170, but we're going to use it as an E175 because Gemini Jets hasn't made one yet, and Delta has a lot of them that fly into here. So just pretend that it's a Delta E175. But this one is operated by SkyWest, came in from Washington Dulles, and it'll be heading out to Pittsburgh. And next to that one we have my Shapeways Custom E175, which came in from Bismarck, also operated by SkyWest, and will be heading out to Minot. And now you move along into the A concourse here. We'll begin on the right there. We have the Shapeways Custom CRJ 900 for Delta connection. This one's operated by Endeavor. Came in from Sioux Falls, and it'll be heading out to Columbus, Ohio. And in the middle here we have the CRJ 200. This one operated by SkyWest, as Endeavor has now retired these. Kind of a sign to come, because SkyWest will be also retiring theirs by this summer, by the end of the summer. So these will also not be around for them much longer, but we still have them here with SkyWest for a little bit longer. This one came in from Brainerd, Minnesota, and this one will be soon heading out to Iron Mountain. Finally, here on the far left, we have my second Shapeways Custom CRJ 900, and this one came in from Appleton, Wisconsin, and this one is going to be just making the turnaround. We'll be heading back out there. And then we'll finish it off here with these two aircraft, beginning with the Gemini Jets CRJ 900, also operated by SkyWest. Or actually, I can't remember if the Appleton one was Endeavor or SkyWest, but this one is operated by SkyWest. Came in from Grand Forks, and it'll be heading out to Green Bay, Wisconsin. The next up here we have my badly beaten up 2016 or 2017 release. It was one of those two. I always forget which one it was. But the older Gemini Jets release, CRJ 200 here. This one came in from Iron Mountain, operated by SkyWest, of course. Came in from Iron Mountain, and this one will be heading out to Brainerd, Minnesota. So the reciprocal of the other CRJ 200. Well, that'll do it for this airport updated MSP. That is all our aircraft here. Like I said, probably going to be a hiatus here, which is a very bad time to see a hiatus, because there is so many new stuff happening at so much new stuff here happening at MSP going into the summer season. A whole ton of new routes, aircraft swaps for a bunch of airlines here, and even new airlines which will be beginning later this month, which unfortunately I won't be able to show, like the inaugural flights of, on like WestJet, because I'll be building the airport. So I would say don't expect another MSP update for at least until July, but it might be later than that, because I have another thing that will be happening in July, which I will be talking about in a future video here coming up fairly soon, probably. But it might be a while until MSP comes back. I'm going to try to work on it as much as possible so I can get it done before the end of the month. But it is a big project here, especially because I want to put in a whole ton of more detail in it. And it is a very big airport in the first place, so it will probably take longer than any of my other airports have so far, but I mean, it's something that has to be done because MSP could be looking a lot better. So that's the goal of the project, to make MSP look a whole lot better. But once it comes back, we'll have a whole ton of stuff to look at, and I mean, it's gonna be great when this airport comes back. Hopefully, it will look splendid. We'll have a ton of cool aircraft to show off here, and hopefully with the haul from airliners, it'll make it even more spectacular. So that'll do it for this video. Thank you all for checking it out. I will see you tomorrow, and as always, good night. Auf Wiedersehen.